Welcome to the Universal Monsters Podcast, the show whose hosts all agree perfectly on 2025's Wolfman. I'm your host, Jake, author of Devil's League and creator of hot quality content, and with me as always the creator host of Screen Package, Bruce, Head. Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
And of course, my other co-host, the creator of Emerald Quill Studios and directing Tour de Force, Xander. How's it going?
It's going great, and yes, we all agree Wolfman 2025 sucked!
It's such a great film. Now, every month my fine co-hosts and I break down a bunch of Universal Monster news across movies, shows, theme parks, physical media, and anything else regarding these classic monsters. After that, we discuss the topic and the title of the episode. So, I would say, are you guys ready for some news? They ain't no news, Chief. There's nothing this whole month. We've scoured all of the landscape for anything significant. Nothing's happened. So, given that the title topic is regarding Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and given that the primary film in question we're going to be visiting at first, at least, is 1913's adaptation by the company that would become Universal, but wasn't really Universal. Here is the full, unedited 26-minute commentary by me, Ian, and Mud. As, instead of the news segment, this is it. Check it out.
With King Who in a dual role?
Bro, you can't say that today. No, this is a film from 1913, widely reported to be the first Universal monster film. However, it really isn't. It was made by a company that wasn't Universal before Universal existed.
Jake, can you turn it up? I can't hear it.
Yeah, I got you. First of all, Mud, alpha tier joke. Alpha tier. Yeah, this is it. This is the one that allegedly started the franchise, even though Hyde is like not in the franchise.
I can't fucking read that.
I think it says, "My beautiful Alice, my
Dearest
charity
validates must be attended to. Forgive me and go to the
Henry
opera."
Jekyll." That was a good cut. I forgot how good the old ones were.
So they're having a conversation. Are they going to cut to another title card with a more like description, or are they just not going to show what they say?
No, I just think
This is terrible.
Yeah.
this.
I'm sorry if you don't have cards to say what the characters are saying.
I'm just watching people walk around.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, it's saying what they're doing instead of any of the dialogue. They're saying this is what the dialogue
you're
was.
Oh, that's terrible.
They're describing
I don't like that.
Howard
dialogue.
Crampton.
I don't like that at all.
Oh man,
The cuts are really good.
That's great.
it's like reading like a Cliff Notes of a book report. Like,
Yeah.
and then these characters bitched about that guy for
At this
3
point
pages.
in the broadcast,
Yeah,
like I don't mind silent movies having the cards that say the dialogue because obviously there was no other way to do it back
Right.
then. But like
Well,
this is just bad.
what about sound?
Silent movie, Ian?
boys.
No, okay, silent movies still had like soundtracks sometimes.
Let me hit you with this. What's the best silent film? Is it Nosferatu?
No.
It's the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
That's not a bad pick either. But those films both do what you guys were saying, where it's like
Yeah,
it clearly
they have-
shows what's happening.
And Dr. Caligari banging soundtrack.
Banging soundtrack.
Like, look at these 3 guys. They're all mad. I'd love to know what they're mad about.
It's like 12 Angry Men, but there's 3 of them, and I'm the angry fourth
This is
man.
almost over.
Yeah. Surprisingly.
Actually,
There's
yes.
like, what, 25 minutes left?
Yeah. Out of the 26.
No, it's been more than 1 minute, I think.
Let's check.
This film. Oh, yeah, let's check. I'm sure it's going to be great. We are 2.5 minutes in. So, Dr. Jekyll is played by King Baggett. Now, he is widely praised in his role. I think he won an Oscar for Best Actor, even though it was before the Oscars existed. I don't know what
I was
he
going
won.
to say, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm on crack. No, he was widely praised for his performance, and it was seen as like one of the best acting performances ever, which I guess is true up to 1913 and not
There was
after.
3 films.
A great deal of his time is devoted to charity patients.
See, but like, why aren't we seeing that? Why are they just telling us
The
this?
film's only 26 minutes long, Jacob.
This guy was born in 1879.
Did they? I guess they didn't know how to make films yet because it was
They
so
really-
early.
No, it's 1913.
Was there even a motion picture industry in 1913?
No, Birth of a Nation didn't come out till 1915.
Right, and that changed movies forever.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that is the landmark movie that kind of created the idea of the movie.
There's no way.
D.W. Griffith hated black people that much that he was like, what if I did 3 hours about it?
What if I? All right, let's spin it this way then. What is like? Do you guys have you guys seen a lot of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde adaptations?
I've seen him in 20s.
I've seen him in Van Helsing.
Seen him in The Mummy, bro.
Van Helsing and the Mummy
And
are
The
like
Mummy.
the only two Universal.
League. He was in League.
Yeah, he's in League.
League, which is not Universal, but he's there. He's there.
You didn't ask.
I
You
didn't.
didn't ask Universal movies. You said Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
That is fair.
I think there's an episode of Scooby Doo that's basically Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I've seen that Arthur episode.
Let's not forget where they met Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Abbott and Costello.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so I've seen about 4 or 5.
I've seen the
adaptations.
episode of Arthur where they do Jekyll, Hyde. That's
Jekyll,
a banger.
Hyde, Jekyll.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
All right. So far, how is this ranking among those?
Best
Last. Oh,
Conflicting reports.
conflicting reports.
one. Nah. This is I don't even know how to judge this.
I
You know,
agree.
Like, it's first off mega short. Second off, no title cards for dialogue. So I'm just kind of just watching people walk around.
There's no title cards. There's no soundtrack. There's no anything.
Yeah,
It's like watching a GIF.
it is watching a GIF. This is watching a GIF.
This is a real long GIF.
You didn't predict the dialogue. That makes it an unpredictable film. In the dead silence of the night, Dr. Jekyll plans to set
free
his
his
evil
evil
self.
Like the
self.
dead silence of the movie. Am I right?
So got him.
That sound of clapping was meeting and stroking each other off.
Yeah,
I like the story of Jekyll and Hyde. I think it's really interesting.
I agree.
My favorite takeaway from the story is that they never describe what Hyde looks like. They just characters refer to him as strange and something's off about him in nature.
I like when they make him a homunculi.
Homunculi.
I also like when they
So
make him a
I like
homunculi.
to see adaptations and what they do with that because you have to visually show him. And sometimes he's the Hulk. Sometimes he's just a weird short dude.
Personal favorite is when he's the Hulk.
He's in 2 separate The Hulk
I
films.
don't know if that's my favorite. I kind of like when he's just like a guy.
Me
like
too.
A freak.
He's just a weird looking guy. Look, okay, so they're
So ugly.
crossfading. Does
I'm
he have an eye
crossfading.
patch? Is that this?
Yeah. I just like when he's
Does he manifest an eye patch?
I just like when he's a freak. You know what I mean?
So they crossfaded to show that he's now Hyde,
An eye patch.
and he looks very clumsy.
He looks like he's tweaking.
He's tweaking very clumsy.
He's gonna just do
that is Ian, you're right. That's a GIF, and the GIF just has the white bar at the top with the black text that says tweaking.
Yeah.
That's a reaction.
Did he grow a hat?
No, he put it on.
Okay.
He stumbled into the hat and cane. He has that finger gimmick.
He's
I don't
just like
know.
a mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He deserved an Academy Award 14 years before they gave
Existed.
those out.
They did
He's,
not
he's
hand them
doing
out
a
yet.
crab walk too. He's like,
I fuck with that. That's good. We've only had him on screen for 1 second.
you see what I'm saying, right?
He's real low to the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's squat walking.
He's like, you know.
look at him.
Does this movie get more interesting as time goes on?
What are we watching?
A GIF.
Oh, that was.
Whoa.
Remember the good cutscene?
There are no good cuts.
To my household's servants,
the-
the baker, the bearer, Mr. Hyde, is my best fiend.
Friend.
I said friend, yeah.
Fiend would
Dr.
be
Jekyll.
appropriate, if anything.
What's Dr. Jekyll's first name?
Henry.
So it's Henry Jekyll and Edward Hyde?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Why does he get a full name?
HJEH.
Why does the alter ego get a first and last? That implies a family line of Hydes.
He's the son. He's the son of Thomas Hyde,
Thomas Hyde, yes.
who's Henry Jekyll's dad, Gordon Jekyll, but also takes the
Gordon Jekyll also has an alter ego who has Thomas Hyde as his ego.
Yeah, and then his mom is the same way.
Except Thomas Hyde is the normal one and Gordon Jekyll is the nice one.
Yeah.
You guys,
the evil one.
you
I
guys
should say.
are completely burying the lead here.
Yeah. Hit it.
Who's in
How
it?
did he get a doctor? How
Well,
did he
okay,
get a
so-
doctorate?
Dr. Henry Jekyll is
He
the
was
doctor.
He was just a guy.
Mr. Hyde is not a doctor. He's just
Yeah.
a guy.
So how?
How what? He went to school. What
He
is
went
there
to school.
fucking understand
Did
about that?
he all right, listen, he's no personalities. He's got one personality. He went to school, became a doctor, made the serum because he's a doctor, takes the
Looks
serum,
like a
now he
mole
has
person.
If it was Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde, your question is valid.
Fair,
How would he manifest that? But
he just loses the doctor?
He becomes smarter.
He becomes infinitely dumber that he drops doctor and it goes to Mister.
He's wearing buck teeth and goggles.
Yeah, this
What's
is just
going
like-
on right now?
So, all right. When we watch the Universal Monster films, I always take into account historical context, and for the time, it did this really well. This is so hard to do that with because it's conveying all this information in not a great way.
I just I don't really know what's going on. I get that he's hiding right now, but look at him. He looks like a dork.
It does look like a dork.
This predates Kirk Douglas.
All right.
Does it?
Yeah.
The demon-souled man provides a hiding place.
That word is sold.
I wasn't sure.
No,
I
you're
didn't
good.
think demon-souled man.
It would have been a hyphenated word.
Yeah.
Now, but back in 1913, hyphens weren't invented yet.
You're right.
19...
Excuse me, ma'am. My knees don't work anymore. Can I come in?
Excuse me, ma'am.
He looks like Danny DeVito.
He does because he's just he's like
Why,
kangaroo crouching.
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's weird. It's just weird. That's a weird thing to do. I know in the book, don't they say he's hunched over?
Yeah, but not like this.
That's what I'm saying. It's
right?
There's a difference between walking hunched over. I imagine
Hyde slips out into the night, terrorizing the patrons of a nearby tavern before finding himself lodgings. How is he terrorizing the patrons of the tavern?
he walked in and he looks weird.
That's not terrorizing
No,
them.
that's weird back then. You forget it was illegal to be ugly back then.
Walked in
It's
and
true.
you
You were
weird.
executed for your
Put him in the
crimes.
fucking circus.
You were yeah, exactly. You were put in the circus as a geek.
You know what I don't like about this film? It's boring.
From these rooms, he begins a career of evil. What a career!
But
Someone called Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
What do you guys do for a living? Oh, I'm evil.
that's the
professionally.
Invisible Man's whole shtick.
I'm a professional evil man.
Stole
I'm
the
an
Invisible
evil
Man's
doer.
whole
I make
flow.
$100K a year
The evil
being
man
evil.
had many adventures by night.
One night,
This is literally that was literally tell don't
He's
show.
gonna take his cane.
Oh my god, Tiny Tim.
Wait, did they say this
Oh
would
my
happen
God.
before it happened?
He's just fucking curb stomping him.
Wait, this
He's
is so
beating
funny.
the shit out of a
He's
cripple.
curb stomping a disabled child. That's so sad. That's
Why did he do that?
oh no.
Just
he's
shoot
evil.
Shoot him. Oh, guns weren't invented
Test
yet.
audiences would today be like, "That's not allowed. You can't put that in the film."
Why? He's a bad person. I
Still.
don't understand that when people were like, "Oh, well, you can't do that." He's the villain.
Yeah, that's what
We're supposed to hate
the
him.
Same test audiences said Crypto couldn't be punched in the head in James Gunn's Superman, so
By
they
who?
cut it out.
But by who? Who wanted to punch Crypto in the? Who was going to punch Crypto in the
It
head?
would either have been Engineer or Ultraman in that scene.
They're the bad guys.
They are the bad guys. It's not like Superman did it.
He agreed to pay for his injuries. That
He's
means
not that evil then. This guy's
Yeah.
a bitch.
But he paid in fake money.
Wait.
Ooh.
Wait, so why would Mr. Hyde terrorize these people and then be like, "Okay, I guess I'll pay for the
He
injuries"?
beat one disabled boy and then went, "I'm sorry."
This is so strange.
It's like a Thursday afternoon for me.
Yeah.
Raw footage of Ian Mello walking into my house.
Would you guys cover for me if I murdered somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the end of the conversation for me.
It's just perjury.
Are we lying on the stand?
Yeah, hold
Oh,
on. That's
jeez.
perjury.
I mean, no, just to a police officer.
Well, I don't believe in religion, so when I put my hand in the Bible, it means nothing.
it's
so-
just to the police officer. Like, hey, how did this happen?
You can do it on not the Bible. It also doesn't. It's not the point of putting it on the Bible. You're still saying, "I will tell the truth."
I like how there's
That's
no
perjury.
There's no better system than just, "Hey, you're gonna tell the truth, right?"
Yeah, but that again, that's what perjury laws are for.
Yeah.
So our general rule of thumb back in the day when we recorded was we found that 10 minutes of content usually generated 1 minute of commentary.
Yeah, give or take.
It wasn't an exact science.
Yeah.
But we found that was generally how our editing went.
Yep.
This could be a 2-minute video.
Literally, if I edited this conventionally and just picked out certain points and put them here and there, yeah, 2 maybe 3 minutes at the most.
Alternatively, because this is, I believe, free use, no copyright, or fair use.
Yeah, fair use, no copyright.
I couldn't remember what it was. I was like, free copyright, fair, whatever.
Yeah.
Because this is fair use, we could just upload this whole thing
We can
straight on.
We straight up. We don't even have to commentate. We can just plagiarize it. It's still
It's
fine.
our movie now.
It's our movie now. Who cares?
It's like how we own 2016's Ben-Hur.
We do own 2016's
do
Ben-Hur
own 2016's
due to a
Ben-Hur.
legal copyright issue with YouTube's service, and that is not our
He
fault.
drank a milkshake, and now he's Dr. Jekyll again.
Never again shall I tempt fate. I bet
Meanwhile,
you in the next
Every
one particular
lactose
one-
intolerant
I bet you in the
person
next
when they have a
Jesus
milkshake.
13 more minutes he's gonna be Hyde again.
It looks worse than Green Lantern 2011. That's
I
bias.
hate to say I agree with that because it's a compliment to Green Lantern 2011. So we're halfway through, and the story is almost basically over.
He's never going to tempt fate again, and then
He
he tempts fate
learned-
again.
Doesn't he eventually?
A
No, doesn't he
lesson?
eventually start becoming Hyde without drinking his milkshakes?
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's part of the plot.
I think so.
He becomes the evil man again without the use of the drug.
Wow, that's what we just said out loud. Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, why can't the movie say it
I
out
know
loud?
the plot of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
I've just never watched an actual adaptation of it. It's like Phantom of the Opera. I know everything that happens in Phantom of of the Opera. Never seen it.
Oh, it's good.
I've seen Phantom of the Megaplex.
Phantom is good. Is that the American Dad episode?
No, that's Phantom of the Telephone.
That have you've seen that one too?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's a great episode. Whoa! His head did a cool thing there.
Before we do
that was actually awesome.
Jake, rewind it.
Womp womp.
Good one. No, that was actually a good effect.
Yeah.
And now he's going goblin mode.
Again, this is a GIF. White bar, black text, goblin mode.
So, a review of the Times says that it is through the means of the dissolving process that the transformation is made purely effective. You see the change
Part
of the man.
two.
Sorry.
You see the change of the man of good to the man of evil right before your eyes. I disagree. I see a change of a man going from no prosthetics to wearing a weird mask and wiggling his finger.
I see a guy bending his knees.
Crab walking.
I could see that any Sunday.
Yep.
If you know what I mean, fellas.
You know what I'm talking about.
Church.
Wow. Time was not spent in the proper ways in this film. We only got like 10 minutes left to commentate.
Pain of my death.
Care
or
of my death.
disappearance,
All my
world
possessions
belongs.
never
Yeah,
to
Hyde
me.
fakes his will because Hyde's going to take over Jekyll. Again, this is just the plot.
Yep, sure. Not a bad
The
idea.
episode of Arthur is so much better than this.
Can we watch Phantom of the Telephone after this?
All right, what's your favorite movie with Jekyll in it?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Is the episode of Arthur a movie?
No.
League of Extraordinary
All right,
Gentlemen.
let me get my phone.
You know my answer is Van Helsing cannot be beaten.
Oh, it can be.
It can and it does.
What's the worst one before we
Van Helsing.
before we factor this in?
No, I'm kidding. It's probably Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
Oh,
Yo, Tom Cruise's The Mummy is
As
dog
much as
shit.
I want to say Van Helsing, just to fuck you over, it's
No.
definitely Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
yeah, I understand.
It's not even close.
I understand Van Helsing criticisms. I would not understand you if you put Van Helsing below Tom
No,
Cruise's
listen,
Mummy.
I didn't like Van Helsing, but like, good God, that's not a comparison to make. Like, Van
not.
Helsing is objectively the better film than Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
It's very true.
It's not even close.
I think my favorite film adaptation would be Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde. It's a blaxploitation film about Dr. Jekyll and Mr.
Have you
Hyde.
seen this film, Ian?
No.
No,
It's
I didn't
probably
think
League
so.
of Extraordinary Gentlemen by default. And the worst one is probably
Can't say that.
It's Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
also League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No way. It's an ace of spades.
It's the best and the worst.
The highest and lowest card in the deck.
Yeah.
Adaptations.
Because I think it's the best film that I've seen with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but it's the worst design for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, it's fucking ugly.
I don't know. The worst design for Jekyll might be the Mummy, Tom Cruise.
No,
It was
gets
looks the
purple.
same.
Russell Crowe with CGI on his face. It
Yeah,
looked
but like
purple.
Adaptation.
that weird Ginger Hulk one's disgusting.
I like the Ginger Hulk one.
Ginger Hulk was pretty rough. I appreciate that you're saying that Ginger Hulk is worse than Van Helsing Hulk. That was cool. I'll take that as a W.
It's just a big guy.
They're both just Hulks for no reason. The book does not make them the Hulk in any way.
A book doesn't not make them the Hulk.
You are correct on technicality because it does not clarify what he does look like. But I feel like if he was like 20 feet tall or whatever, the people would be like, wow, that's the most notable thing about him.
Wow, he's 20 feet tall.
Wow.
Man, there really
Is he
aren't a-
ripping his hair off his head? That'd be
Sure.
pretty cool.
There aren't a lot of like adaptations. You know what's funny? This isn't even the only one that was produced in 1913.
Of Jekyll? Wow, they must have been really easy to make.
1913.
Oh, he's
film
dead.
U.S.
Guys.
Oh, good. Anyways, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, produced by Kinemacolor Company of America, filmed in Kinemacolor, directed by Frank E. Woods, starring Murdoch McGuire. And then,
Great name.
And then 1913 film U.S., Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, same fucking title, starring King Baggett and
That's this
directed
one.
by
Yep.
Herbert Brennan, distributed by Universal Film Manufacturing Company.
Wow. He's dead. There's 9 minutes left. We're barely over halfway through. The protagonist is dead.
minutes?
He's not dead. He's going to come back as Mr. Hyde or whatever.
Also, 1912, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, same title, United States production based on Richard Masefield's stage performance, starring James Cruz, grandfather
You
of
know,
Tom.
I'll say this. This doesn't feel as much like a play.
Yeah,
I'll give
feels
it that.
like this. The blocking's not very.
No,
play-like.
this is film-esque. It's just bad.
I seriously expected, like, a filmed play. And probably parts of this are, but, like, this is better than that.
1914. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde done to a frazzle. 10-minute satire. So in 3 years, we had 4 adaptations. 3 of them had the same name.
And that's because there was no content back then to adapt. It was
It's
books.
true. There was no Marvel Cinematic Universe.
There was
Yeah.
not, in fact.
There wasn't.
If only.
When Kirk Douglas came to be, then they were like, oh, let's adapt the Avengers.
You know, I've always thought about, like,
Oh, he killed that guy. That's pretty cool.
any film today from 2020, whatever, if you take it, even if it's like a terrible movie and you put it back 100 years ago, it's like, oh my God, this is a masterpiece, right?
Except
Lee's the
War
Hulk.
of the Worlds.
No, if you take Ice Cube's War of the Worlds, no one would understand it, actually, because it's all about
Yeah.
technology and gigabytes and shit. And that wouldn't be a thing.
They'd be like,
See, okay,
what
but
is
if that's
this?
your logic. You have to take that into account for other films.
Oh, you can only pick period pieces that are bad.
I picked The Lighthouse. It'd be the best film ever made. It already is.
It already is, yeah, when it came out, anyway. That could be released 100 years later and still be the best film ever
I'm
made.
picking Upstream Color.
Yo!
Confuse the shit out of. I think people in 1910 would just die.
Yeah, it like transcends code. There, you can't possibly show that in theaters.
Be like, what the hell is going on?
All right, what film from today's era could you put back and it would be praised? It's got to be one that's a period piece, otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
2016's Ben-Hur.
Damn it, you're right.
Yeah.
People would love that shit.
Yeah,
They'd never
yeah.
make the good Ben-Hur.
They'd never make the good Ben-Hur.
They'd be like, we have perfect Ben-Hur already.
We have Ben-Hur at home.
Ben-Hur at home.
I actually kind of like the mask design. It's creepy.
Dearest Canyon, get for me the boxes in my table drawer. Do not bad as my bibberty, my life,
Not
my
bad as-
honor, and my soul depend on you. My messenger
And it's gone.
app is not loading.
Do you want to know why I picked 2016's Ben-Hur, by the way?
Because
So I went to the War of the Worlds Wikipedia page, and it was produced by Timur Bemeknikov, who directed 2016's
oh my
Ben-Hur.
God, Timur Bemeknitov.
Midnight.
Ian, what are the films associated with Timur Bemeknitov?
Oh, please, let me start by his first film, Peshvar Waltz,
Sure, it's good.
The Arena,
Sounds good.
Night Watch.
Oh yeah, Big Wood.
The sequel to Night Watch, I think. Day Watch.
W.
Irony of Fate 2. Wanted.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yoki.
Wanted.
Yeah, we went over this.
Yeah.
We've been over
Well,
this
we
before.
did go over this.
Yoki, not Yoki 2. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
Yoki 1914 does not predate this film. Yoki 5. Huh? Ben-Hur. Profile. V2 Escape from Hell, and a 2026 film named Mercy with Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson.
Okay. Now, my follow-up question, which is extremely relevant to Timur, is if all of the adaptations of Jekyll that we have seen were in a fight, who would win?
Probably one of the Hulk ones.
Yeah.
So, no credence to Russell Crowe Jekyll, who fought Tom Cruise for a bit and didn't die.
No. Like, I'm pretty sure in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, doesn't he like run through a building at one point? I'm pretty sure that happened.
Oh, wow, you're right.
Yeah, he like.
I mean,
Juggernaut
Van Helsing
through a
Jekyll
building.
just fell off a church and immediately died.
So yeah,
So-
yeah, it's one of those guys.
So it's yeah,
Because Van Helsing Van Helsing Hyde is also a bit of a Hulk.
you're so right. No, I think Ian has. I think Mud rather. You have a good point. Of he runs through like brick buildings and
I'm
concrete.
pretty sure that's in LXG. I'm
No,
pretty
I
sure he
think you're
like
right.
runs through a building at one point. Like he
does.
busts through a wall at least.
And he fights and wins a Hyde 3 times bigger than himself.
He does. Yeah, I forgot that happened.
That was an extremely bad film.
God, it's
So
like if the
we-
Avengers was bad.
You dude, catastrophically bad.
It's like if the Avengers was bad is crazy.
It's almost unrateable, isn't it?
Did he just rip a ring off that woman's finger?
So if you put every Universal monster,
Yes.
like in the in
how much time is left?
the
'Cause we're already
Avengers,
to
probably
the,
like 5 minutes or something.
We're already to the angry mob.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5
Wait,
minutes.
this is one of the first angry mob films about a monster.
so
the trope.
The whole
Right.
town is motivated.
Frankenstein.
Maybe it is a Universal monster movie.
Frankenstein's like Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Dracula has to be Iron Man.
Does he?
Rich.
Yes. It's
Bitches.
Like the
Rich
Playboy
and bitches.
guy.
Yeah,
that
he's got
has to be
bitches.
Iron Man.
Sure.
Rich and bitches.
Hyde, would Hyde be the Hulk?
Hyde is the
Hyde's
Hulk.
the Hulk.
No, Werewolf is Hulk. Wolfman. Dual
Wolfman.
personality, more popular. Done.
Hyde doesn't even get his own thing then. He's not fucking there.
Yeah,
Hyde.
because they do the same thing.
And then
Yeah,
Thor,
but like Thor's the mummy.
Mummy easy because
Yeah, 'cause he has
Heart
Heart
attack
attack
powers
powers.
and lightning
Ancient,
can cause a
yeah.
heart attack.
Yep, and those are the big four for
You
Universal,
got it.
so it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Defibrillation and all that.
And then like
He has an antidote? Where'd this come from?
the Invisible Man would be Black Widow because like
yeah.
that makes
and
sense.
then Dorian Gray's Hawkeye because he's the hot one.
Dorian Gray,
He's not
get this
Universal.
loser out of here. Not you. Dorian Gray sucks.
Not a Universal
He
monster.
doesn't
the
do
slightest.
anything.
Going off LXG logic.
Captain Nemo is actually Thor.
Oh my
Captain
God.
Nemo would be fucking Iron Man.
Captain Nemo would be Iron Man.
Dude.
The automobile.
I invented it
Colin, why aren't we watching LXG?
because that is 10 times longer than this film.
And
He's jerking
So,
it.
all right, main question here.
0.
Do you guys...
Oh,
no,
sorry.
not that one. Do
Whoa.
you think it's a Universal monster film?
No.
no, not really. I don't even think this is really a film.
That's a good point.
So
Like I'm not knocking it. It's just like we've advanced so far in filmmaking techniques, and I respect this as something that came out in like the proto era of like figuring shit out.
The Great Train Robbery is a proto film, and it was awesome.
You make a good point there. Great Train Robbery. It's shorter too.
It's shorter, it's more compact, it's tight, it tells its message better, you understand more. So I would give it a 1. I don't think it's all bad. That one transformation scene actually got me like, I thought it was awesome.
Go to every chemist in London for this.
Now we get the dialogue.
I'd rather not.
You were supposed to be meeting up.
Are
with
you going to
Dr.
make like
Jekyll.
serums for everybody? Is that the
He's gonna make
plot?
serums for himself. I feel like I'm not even rating it out of 10 though. Is the funny thing. Like I'm giving it a 1, but I feel like that's kind of out of 5 because I don't know if I could give this a full 10 points.
Yeah, it's too short.
I don't know.
It is
I guess a
unrateable.
1.
I'll
Yeah.
give it.
Yeah, it is kind of unrateable.
I'll give it 1 because I respect it a little.
But I don't
There
think
you
any of
go.
us like we're not saying like okay, when we give a film a 1, you know, like think about our worst pictures. Like
Right.
think about the ones we've out. That is a 1 that is filled with like disdain and hatred. This is just like yeah, I guess.
That's because the movies we give 1s, they know better. They're in the 80s and 90s. Like they're
Yeah,
made after.
this is 1913. So like based on inflation,
critic inflation.
critic
How we
inflation,
feel
this would
about our
probably be like a
emotions.
7. I don't know, maybe a 6.
Critic inflation. All right, Ian. What's your critic inflation score?
Probably like a 5.
Yeah.
Critic inflation, I would say, is probably.
I think 5 is the most reasonable answer you could give because I didn't hate it, but like it didn't do anything.
It's empty calories.
Oh, they broke down that perfectly square hole in the door. Oh, wow, he died.
He's
dead.
dead.
Good
Yeah, we're
work,
on one
detectives. Good work. Let's head
Please, please, where is it? Put up
Title
the fucking
card,
title.
if he's dead, would go wild.
They shake hands over it. Critic inflation, I might give it like a 6.
Yeah, I think
because like if I'm in theaters in 1913 and there's like no films ever made,
Yeah, that
and
was
this
good.
comes out, I'm like, yo,
That was a good half hour.
that was great.
I'm gonna get some alcohol and cigarettes now.
Yeah, a steak and
And
a glass of milk and
beat
I'm
my
good.
wife.
That's what we do in the 40s. Sorry,
know?
10s. That's
Tens.
what we do in the 10s.
10s, no steak and milk, bro. It's cigarettes and alcohol.
Oh my god. All right.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. I feel like my upper limit's 6 because anything over a 6, I'd rewatch.
Right.
I don't think I'd bother with another. Like I got everything I needed out of
Yeah,
this.
I
Yeah.
think a 5 is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
good work inflating our critics.
See you for the next Universal Monster.
No, obviously you guys have not watched that at all. So
And then some news drops tomorrow.
it always does, doesn't it? But
See,
yeah.
Bruce, we should have retaliated and made our own commentary, just you and me, because Jake didn't do it with us.
How the fuck?
I know. I'm just.
I know.
I'm sorry. What am I gonna fly out to 2 states at the same time and hit record?
You can just do it over Discord, man. It's not that
It
hard.
doesn't work as well over Discord. We've tried this.
Anyways.
But no, I mean, there's hardly anything to commentate on in that movie, anyways.
That's
Dude,
true.
we'll get there. In fact, we'll get there blindingly soon because this episode's title topic is about the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Of course, the Robert Louis Stevenson novella, not even a real like full-length book, and this story's relationship to the Universal monsters because, as of course is the case, the Universal monsters are often a loosely defined collection of characters, but the main set of them are ones that everyone can usually agree on, like Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy, Invisible Man, Creature, and even some smaller characters like Phantom or Hunchback Notre Dame. What's interesting here is that all the characters I've mentioned have at least one adaptation in the classic era of Universal's horror movies, an era that spanned from the dawn of cinema when films were like less than silent and ended right around the mid-50s with the last Creature movie. So nowhere, not in the silent film era, nor the 30s, 40s, or 50s, when all the other ones were getting their own series, was Jekyll and Hyde adapted even once, except in Abbott and Costello Meet Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And this film was an insane decision considering that they weren't crossing over anything. They never even touched the character prior. But for context, of course, Jekyll and Hyde has been adapted tons of times in that same era, but never by Universal. He didn't show up in a House movie. He didn't get an all-female spin-off, which a lot of them, for some reason, got. The only thing they did was that Abbott and Costello movie. And so that's the foundation that we're working off with today's title topic here, before we talk about 1913s to kick things off. But if you fast forward to the remake era, the first of which was 1979's Dracula, I actually spent a little bit of time and crunched some numbers for this one. Let me pull up my quick little chart here. There are 13 Universal Monster remakes. Roughly half have just been Dracula films, which I'm counting Van Helsing in that. You guys know, I don't have to quiz you guys. It's pretty obvious if you're a Universal Monster fan, but for the context, Jekyll and Hyde, having never appeared in the classic movies except for a comedy spin-off, which didn't cross over anything, has only appeared twice in the only 2 films to feature more than one monster in a Monster Mash context, which is Van Helsing and 2017's Mummy. Those are the only 2 remake films that he actually appeared in, made by Universal. So Universal has tried to reclaim the character as a Universal monster in the modern day, trying to make him the linchpin of the Dark Universe, which was hilarious. But they never did anything with him. If you go to the Universal Monster Wikipedia page, which is a subject we bring up a little bit too often on this show, it lists the first one as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde 1913.
Funny enough, there was a story that was adapted the year prior in 1912.
Yeah, and I think it was also adapted the same year by a different studio. It was very hotly adapted, like Frankenstein at the time. If you're watching, you just watched the entire full unedited commentary by the boys and I. So let's just get into it here. I kind of know your guys' thoughts. I didn't even have to ask you guys. I watched this film. I'm like, I know exactly what they think. But what were your expectations going into this film, which is not even actually technically a Universal Monster film?
Well, this is one of those weird things where I only knew about this one because when the Wikipedia page got revamped, they stuck this right at the beginning, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And going into it, watching it, I didn't really have any expectations other than it was going to be a silent movie. And it was going to be really short, so there probably wasn't going to be a whole lot going on. What kind of threw me the most is that it's a silent movie, but it's not like any other silent movie I've seen. Because maybe it's because I'm not familiar with the 1910s era of silent movies. Because usually you watch the later silent movies, there's intertitles for dialogue. This doesn't do that. It literally is just a scene header at the beginning telling you what's happening, and then people going
Yes.
and then occasionally they insert a letter someone has written.
Right, and no, you're totally right about that. They have human beings standing around talking to each other. It's a silent film. We have no idea what they're saying. But they don't put in title cards of the dialogue. In fact, a few minutes later, I can't even say 10 minutes later, it's half the runtime. A few minutes later, they'll put up a card that describes the actions of what they argued about this subject. It's what did they say? I'd like to know what the argument was. That's what a film is. But it's really hard to quote unquote criticize this because they didn't know what a real film there's no such thing as a real film at this point. They have no filmmaking techniques.
Yeah.
This was in the proto era of filmmaking. They had no idea what the hell was going on. So
it's like when you're carving a statue out of stone. We still got 90% of stone here.
Yeah, it's interesting, and this is about a decade after A Trip to the Moon.
True,
Oh, wow.
But that didn't need any dialogue. That was great.
Yeah, that's actually more innovative than this is. Although I will say that I do think it did seem like they tried some things here. There's just not a lot to it.
It was apparently notable for the fade transition from when Jekyll, I think either Hyde transforms back into Jekyll or something. I read just a quick snippet on, I think, a letter saying that was a notable thing, that was a really new thing, the fade transition.
It's interesting to see that in context of Wolfman doing that to the next level of fading between levels of his transformation until he's fully transformed.
That's true.
But at the end of our review, which audience, they haven't actually watched the review that you just watched, but at the end of the review, we all give it like a 1 or something. We were like, let's adjust our scores for inflation. What would you give it with that context? And we all give it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. You know, as like a nod of respect of like, okay, it's fine. It's what if like the thing is like if you walk into a theater in 1913, you're not disappointed 26 minutes later. You're like, oh, okay, that was interesting. You just walk out, you're done.
Yeah.
You know?
I found it, I mean, like, as a filmmaker, I did find it as an interesting bit of history and stuff. And I mean, like you said, like, technically it's not a monster movie, but I don't know. I mean, it's like, what does technically define? Because this was produced by Carl Laemmle. Like, this was, by all definition, this was a horror book adapted by Universal, you know, creator Carl Laemmle and stuff. So it's like, well, it's not exactly our traditional and stuff. I do think there's a small argument that it is a Universal monster picture, even though, or if not a picture, at very least the prototype of what we would see and stuff later on with, you know, Dracula and such.
Definitely
but,
the proto era, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a prototype. But yeah, I was the same. I was kind of like, what are they talking about? And you know, the one thing I kept on thinking, I was like, what is that like as like a director or just like as an actor in that time? Like, you know, there's not going to be any sound, you know, not anything. So obviously the director's telling you, okay, do this, do that and stuff. Because directors used to do that. They'd tell you how to act in the moment because there was no sound. So for conversations like that, are they acting? Like, are they acting like on a stage play, or are they just like kind of like talking but pretending like going like, you know, blah blah blah, miming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I found that really interesting.
And one thing I will say is that there's this talk about how like the transformation was really it was really notable at the time. It was kind of innovative, but the versions of it I found online were so low quality I couldn't even see the transformation. I'm being completely honest.
Well,
that's fair. I mean, it only exists in like 240 today. I don't know.
Yeah. No, well, it's just the fade. That's all the transition is. It's just, unless I'm mistaken, that's it. It was just the fact that they cross-faded 2 pictures together.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, I could,
you know, for 1912, that's like, holy shit, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, I could barely even tell there was a fade. That was how low quality this was. But I will give it something, even though I thought this was an interminable 26 minutes. There was some kind of interesting things about it in that this is one of the more faithful adaptations of the book. Like, there's a bunch of scenes adapted just straight from the book. Like, you kind of have to interpret it because there's no dialogue. But, like, there's stuff in the book that's, like, not even in some other versions. What I thought was interesting is that the actor, whose name is King Baggett, which, when spoken out loud, it's like the Gang of Diggers of Mr. Hyde movies.
Yeah, it is. It's both badass and slightly offensive, but not really.
Yeah, but he's one of the only actors I've seen who actually tries to do the thing where Hyde is shorter than Jekyll, which doesn't play at all because they did not have the ability to pull this off back then, because it just amounts to him like squatting down and like crouch walking, and they don't even try to hide it.
He probably got a note from the director that says like, you know what crazy is? Just wiggling your finger. Just keep doing that.
I just thought it was hilarious because I kept thinking him going like, "Hello, everybody, I'm evil."
Yep, that's 100% what happened.
The way they interpreted the scene of him stomping on the child was because in the book what happens is that he bumps into the kid as they're going around the street corner and then just stomps on them because he's pissed off. In this, he just walks up to the guy and just fucking knocks him over for no reason. It was so funny.
And then he's like, I'll agree to pay for the injuries. And then, I haven't read the book yet, so is it and you mentioned it does a lot from the book, so did Jekyll really write letters saying like, yeah, give Hyde all this stuff. Yeah, do this for Hyde. Like, did he just have all these letters handy, or?
He did, and he did, because the way the book is told is it's told as like a mystery, and some of it is told through letters and stuff, and it's finding out about this incident, finding that, he's like helping Hyde out, and like, who is Hyde? And then you find out that Hyde is like the beneficiary of his will. It's not like in the movie where it's like, Mr. Edward Hyde is my best friend, so please look after him, which was just funny.
Right. Well, what's significant to me about the book anyway, like the thing I took away the most of it was that like they never provide an actual detailed description of Hyde. They just have characters comment that something seems strange or off about him, and they say
Yes.
like he's short. That's like the best you get.
He's short.
I thought
and he
that
has
was really
like
cool because like
he's short and he has like kind of ugly looking hands. They mentioned at one point.
right,
But that's about
he's
it.
just something's like uncomfortable about him when you look at him, and I like that. Like that's part of the mystery, like you were talking about. Like it's like what is happening here if you're a first time reader in the 1800s. So what I like about that is that with all the adaptations, you get to see different like interpretations of like what does that mean, what does that look like on screen. You can't like hide on screen. I get it, but like you can't like cover up on screen like and not show him. You have to kind of show Hyde in a Jekyll and Hyde film. So they all choose a different direction, and look, there's adaptations that do with makeup. There's adaptations that do with a bunch of CGI. This is obviously a situation where, because like the actors back then, they put their own makeup on. They didn't have like teams of people to do that.
Yeah.
So he chose to do it that way. It feels like he's wearing like almost like a mask. I don't know if he has like an eye patch on, but like it
He's
doesn't
got little
look
glasses. Like he puts little spectacles on or something.
like right. And like, does the implication is that like the serum like give him that, or does he put them on now because like he now like wants to look different because he looks the same? He's just hunched over. I don't know.
Yeah.
It to me like this adaptation did not clearly communicate the message of like this man transforming in an effective way. And again, an effective way did not exist in 1913, so it's not on the film.
Now, I appreciate the experimentation.
Yeah,
Yes.
no. I mean, it seemed like they really wanted to do it like, okay, let's have this transformation happen on screen, real time, as quick as possible. And at that time, the best they could do was, okay, we're going to put the hat and these glasses right here, and you're going to bend over and then just like quickly put them on. And that seemed like all they could do, which, I mean, is fair. I mean, that's, again, 1912, that's all you could do.
That's all you could do. That's all it is.
But it is funny that the fade transition, as notable as it is, it does canonically make it that in that film, drinking the serum not only changes your body, but it also grows a hat.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like it grows glasses, it grows a hat. Like what are you supposed to do?
Everything just pops up on you, man. It's great.
It's like when
sense.
Dracula turns into a bat and his cape and his hat go with him.
Yes. He can manifest those. That's canon. It's lore.
Hey, we love it. We love it, man.
And also, this is another version. There's very few adaptations that do Hyde's death from the book where he commits suicide.
There's almost nothing else to talk about. And granted, again, it's 26 minutes long. It's before movies existed. It's people talking in rooms. We don't really know what they're saying. But like, I wish I had like real notes. Like I wish I could deep dive for like 20 minutes about like this is what this movie means. There's like nothing here.
Yeah, was this the era where you popped down to the Nickelodeon and spent a nickel to see a movie?
Yeah, I bet it was.
Well, I think Nickelodeons were shorter, right? They were like only like a couple minutes or something.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
This was in two
but-
reels. It was in two 13-minute like sections. So I don't know.
Right, because there's a part 2. Like in the middle of it says part 2 or something like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this definitely was played in the middle of a theater. Like there was probably like the news segment afterwards.
Right.
But do you think this movie is what? I mean, I don't know any of the history. I'm just speculating. But do you think Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is what made Carl Emley go, or like just start to think, yeah, maybe I should start doing like Dracula and stuff like that?
Well, I know it's not because that was all Lemley Jr.'s idea.
Right. Oh yeah, I forget Junior. He's the one who did all that.
But it's probably why they went, hey, let's adapt Phantom of the Opera when they got
Right,
Lon
yeah,
Chaney.
Phantom.
And it's interesting when you think about it because you go from this era of the actor doing his own makeup where it's a little more primitive, and then you get to Lon Chaney and it's like a step up. It's like a Pokemon.
It's a
evolution.
serious step
What?
up. Yeah.
Yeah. What year was Phantom again?
25, I think.
25. Okay, so that was. Oh, wow, that's the same stand. That's a 12-year jump. Damn.
And while we're still in the silent era, I was looking at a list of like adaptations, and there's a lost silent version I wish we could see, which is it's F.W. Murnau, the guy who did Nosferatu. Apparently, he did the same thing with Jekyll and Hyde, where he made a German version where he changed the title and all the names, but that's been lost to time.
Damn.
Like just seeing how good Nosferatu is, I'd love to see what Der Janitzkopf was like.
Well, I guess the question, because Bruce, you brought it up, is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, are they universal monsters? I mean, do they count? Or does he count?
Universal wants him to be, so I guess he counts now. But I wouldn't count.
Like, what does that mean? Like for example, if like today they released a remake, and it was like Dorian Gray, and they're like, he's a new Universal monster. Like, is that the same thing? I don't know. You know?
Yeah,
I guess if Universal says so.
It's the same thing where it's like, okay, so we count Phantom of the Opera there, but do we? And obviously Universal is always counted, and like the whole thing has been, oh well, there's that colorized version that they'll always include. But everyone, if you say Phantom of the Opera, you think of the Lon Chaney one. So It's like, okay, well, that was the silent era. That was before Dracula. And usually, traditionally, I think we would all agree, usually we consider the beginning to be Dracula, but we also, we look at Phantom and stuff. So
I guess
why,
for me,
why does this not count?
The reason why I feel, this is the strongest reason that I feel like this is not part of the saga, is that it wasn't actually Universal. It was like a proto company. Like the same way that, like, for example, the Bryan Singer's X-Men movies are not Disney films. Just because Disney owns them now doesn't mean that they're actually... And they can weave them in and be like, hey, they're showing up in the MCU here. This is the closest analogy I have because they're a shared universe. But like the way I see it is like that doesn't make them Disney movies just because they own them now. And like I kind of see it the same way. Not that Universal bought itself, quote unquote, but like it wasn't really itself at this stage in time. I don't know. I see the Wikipedia page's logic because it says Universal International Distributing Mining and Coal Company, what the fuck, I don't know. And he's like, oh, okay, this became the real Universal in a few years, but I just don't see it.
I
think go on, Bruce.
I was gonna say, I think Universal doesn't even remember this movie exists.
Right,
because
it's not on the collections. It's not on the VHS tapes anywhere.
It's not on the tapes. It's not included. Heck, the friggin' the Silent Phantom and the Silent Hunchback, I think even they don't really count them because I only think of those as Universal monsters because they showed up in the action figures and the trading cards, and on the stamps when they did the stamps back in the 90s. But like Universal never really acknowledges Silent Phantom. They acknowledge the remake. They don't acknowledge Hunchback, and none of the merch, there was never if they really wanted to acknowledge this, there would have been a Jekyll and Hyde figure. It would have been in the trading card set.
I feel like the only reason why you ever know about, because I know they mentioned the Phantom and Hunchback and like documentary stuff like that. I think the only reason why is just because Lon Chaney Jr.'s father, and so because when they talk about Lon Chaney Jr., they have to talk about his father and stuff, so I think that's the only reason why they've been able to get there. I don't know. I feel like just in terms of like respecting history, just film history in general, it should be noted alongside Phantom and Hunchback just because, again, like I was saying, it is the prototype of all of the Universal Monster movie. It's a prototype. I mean, yeah, there's not much there. Yeah, it's a silent film. Yeah, it's only 26 minutes. It's very bad, but it is the prototype. It is the thing where it's like, okay, we have that. That was the very first thing. Then we had Hunchback and or was Hunchback first or Phantom first?
Hunchback was 23, Phantom was 25.
Yeah, and then we had Phantom, and then we got, Dracula and the masterpieces that came along with that eventually created the best book of all time, The Devil's League by CakeJamara.
Appreciate you. But second only to the best adaptation ever of the Universal Monster, which is, of course, the Emerald Quill Studios saga.
Thank you.
No love for Return of the Wolfman?
Well, both of which pale in comparison to 2025's Wolfman, but that's neither here nor there. I don't even think that. All right, that's not even true at all.
I wanted to fill in the gaps a little bit in terms of like,
I agree,
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because there's a silent version that's pretty well known from like just a couple years later. I think it's 1920. It's like a silent version where they weirdly work in elements of like Dorian Gray in there. Like there's some dialogue gets lifted from that book, and he's played by John Barrymore, who not only was in the Universal movie we talked about on April Fool's Day, Invisible Woman, but he's also, the grandfather or great-grandfather of Drew Barrymore of Monsterthon fame? I remember that one being all right. The really famous one is from 1931, which I think was Paramount? did it with Frederick March as Jekyll and Hyde, which that does a full in-camera transformation purely with lighting filters, which looks really good. That movie, it's got some dated elements in terms of the technicals, but in terms of as like a story, it holds up really well.
Yeah, I wanted to check that out. I looked it up just now. I was like, is that one Universal? But it was Paramount. So I was like, damn it, we can't talk about that one. But
Yeah, I have not seen the 1931 film, but I watched the effect from it. I can tell you just based off of that 10 seconds, this is a better film than 1913's Jekyll and Hyde, hands down.
And then and then it got, there was like, it was MGM did the 1941 remake, which isn't a terrible movie, but if you've seen the 31 film, it's so much worse because it's tamer and it's basically just almost a scene-for-scene copy of that movie, only worse.
I mean, yes, technically the official Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, wasn't until Abbott and Costello, but I think we should give mention to Dr. Edelman in House of Dracula, because
interesting,
he's technically a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah, vampire Dracula bites him and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as I can tell, he's pretty much, again, I'm not very familiar with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I've always looked at that. I'm like, if you really think about it, one guy's the crazy one and he's running around maniac, and the other guy's the good doctor and stuff like that. And they're kind of fighting with each other and things like that.
That would have been fun if they leaned into that and actually made it like the actual character Jekyll and Hyde, because then that would give credence to why'd all these fucking monsters show up here to this fucking guy? He has no fucking reason to help. But if he's actually a dude who has a split personality, has a serum, can fucking change physiology and shit like that, that would actually give credence to why they went to that house in the first place. If we're all set on 1913s, the next thing we're going to talk about is precisely 40 years later, in which two bumbling buffoon comedians meet a different version of Jekyll and Hyde, played by Boris Karloff.
So Abbott and Costello, I haven't actually seen this one.
I saw it a long time ago.
What?
I've yet to see that one, yeah.
I also have seen it a long time ago. I really wanted to rewatch it for this, but it's borderline like at least the other one's 26 minutes long. This is over an hour of horrible. They have Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, played by Boris Karloff. I find that to be an insane decision, considering that they were never crossing over anything. They'd never even touched the character prior. So, especially not in the 50s or anything like that. He had no basis to show up, let alone played by the guy who plays Frankenstein.
And Karloff only plays Jekyll anyways.
He only plays Jekyll. Yeah, the fucking stuntman from The Mummy plays Mr. Hyde. So,
way, really?
Yeah, it's not even like the same guy. So, for me, I go into every movie with an open mind. I'm like, you know what? Some of these Universal Monster sequels actually do surprise me and actually are some of the best ever. It's not the worst Abbott and Costello film, but it is not good. It is pretty disappointing. The serum, I get it's a comedy, but they make some weird decisions with how the serum works and who it infects specifically. And there's an entire opening that I wish I had watched it just before this. There's an entire with the women's suffrage movement or something like that, and
yes.
They're invading this because they're rioting and fighting for women's rights or something, and then Abbott and Costello are are they cops trying to arrest them? Is that what that is?
And they get beaten up by the women.
Yeah, I don't know what that was who that was made for, what demographic of people, but I don't think anybody enjoyed that.
I guess it's there to give, because the whole plot of the movie is that you have Jekyll is turning himself into Hyde, and also his ward is a suffragette, and he's he's raised her since she was a child, but he wants to marry her.
Yeah,
it's a very weird plot, and his jealousy drives him to turn himself into Hyde and go after her boyfriend and shit like that. This weird fucking plot mixed in with Abbott and Costello comedy. I watched this when I was 9 or 10 because I had seen Meet Frankenstein and I wanted to see all the other Abbott and Costello monster movies, and this one, and most of them are not good. Oh my God, Mummy is bad. This one's bad. The one where they go to Mars but don't actually go to Mars, that one sucks.
First of all, I want to be clear that there's nobody that understands the deep, intricate issues of women's suffrage better than 1950s screenwriters. I want to put that out there. I think they only have the best tastes and care in mind when writing these films. I feel like the same way about 1913s, where it's like there's not much to talk about. Like you can talk about like the behind the scenes of like, they got Boris Karloff back. That's a pretty impressive feat. He wouldn't return for Frankenstein in any of the fucking sequels or crossovers, but he's gonna do this role where he doesn't have to put on makeup and leave. Everything about how this movie got made and everything about what led up into it is questionable already. And then the final product is, in my opinion, it's probably bottom 10 Universal Monster films. Maybe not bottom 5, bottom 10.
It's one of the worst Hyde designs, too, because he looks like a crappier, flesh-colored version of Creature from the Black Lagoon covered in hair.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Yeah,
I really hope there's
terrible.
there's one listener here whose, like, favorite film is Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or whatever. And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
listening to this, and
I
they're
just
like,
want to say
"You
we
son
don't.
of a bitch, Jake."
I just want to say if anyone out there does have this as their favorite movie, I'm not trying to offend you or anything.
Maybe they haven't seen any of the other ones, and this is their favorite one because it's the only one they have. I don't know. But regardless, I think that the makeup looks starkly strange with like big sideburns and not much, like a funny nose, because it's relatively easy to apply, because the last like few minutes, everyone becomes a Hyde. Like they all get the serum, and there's like an army of Hydes running around.
What the hell? Really?
And
It's easier to apply.
Yes. The ending of the movie is all the other cops in the police station get turned into Hydes, and then Abbott and Costello crash through the door and leave.
Oh yeah, this is a really weird fucking makeup. I remember it. What the hell?
And it's also not that impressive looking, partly because this is after they kicked out Jack Pierce. So
Right.
So you got credit hogging Bud Westmore in charge of the makeup department.
Hey, male screenwriters in the 50s, they just get women. It's like women love them. Like they get them. It's just what they
You
are.
can probably change that to 90% of men in the 50s.
How, if any, is Hyde a Universal monster? So far, we've talked about 2 films. One is not a real film. One is like a pre-fake film, which was not made by Universal proper. And the other one was actually made by Universal in the era of them making these films, and is a comedic, safe to say, dumpster fire, which does not accomplish any of the goals of Robert Louis Stevenson's story, nor does it stacking up in comparison to the rest of the Universal monster films, like the Draculas or the Frankensteins. Like, I think all 3 Dracula films are better than this. I think all 5 Frankensteins are better than this. Like, every single one, when you match it up, it's like worse. Like,
I have to point out something about this movie. Hyde at the end dies falling 10 feet out of the window.
Yep.
What a strange coincidence, considering I think what's next.
Well, that's what I'm going to get into. So we have 4 films to talk about. I'm not counting London Assignment yet. It's like a side film, but like 4 actual theatrically released films, quote unquote, Nickelodeon-ly released films. Yeah, we'll get there. The first 2 we've talked about, and they've both employed makeup because there's no other way to do it, technically.
Yeah.
The next 2 employ CGI instead of makeup. So we'll get there. But
yeah,
if we're all ready.
Even I wanted to mention, like, Hammer actually did 2 Jekyll and Hyde movies.
Yes.
Really?
Every other studio's done them.
I haven't seen them, but the first one is it's a Jekyll and Hyde movie that Christopher Lee is in, but for some reason he doesn't play Jekyll and Hyde. He plays Jekyll's gambler friend. I just found this name hilarious. His name is Paul Allen.
From American Psycho.
And then they did
so funny.
Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, where he turns into a woman.
Let's see Paul Allen's business card.
Why isn't it possible, Mr. Hyde? It's just not possible.
But yeah. I guess that wraps up the 53 conversation. We have to go now 51 more years into the future for one of the most underrated Universal Monster gems, Van Helsing. Now, this is not a review of the film Van Helsing, necessarily. This is just talking about Hyde in context. But how do you guys feel about the film, just in general?
I like it okay. It's not a brilliant movie, but I think it's watchable enough. Kind of.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It's a gentleman's 6.
It's a guilty pleasure for me. I love it, and I guiltily have to admit it's a fun time. I still hate the werewolf designs, but that's a hill that I will die alone on for the rest of my life.
Because
the most
they're
Xander
nowhere
comment of all time.
Because obviously they're nowhere near as good as the 2025 designs.
Oh, for the love of God. Yeah, okay. I would rather have Van Helsing's werewolf designs than ever have to look at that god-awful meth head of a fucking excuse for a goddamn werewolf.
Hold up, Bruce. I don't want you to talk shit about this debate Xander and I have anytime, because I purposely did not mention anything about it since the opening joke, and you brought that up knowing that he'd pop off. All right.
How many times has this fucker said, "Let's drop it"? We've talked about this damn movie, and now he starts rage baiting me.
I had to do it once. I probably won't do it again for another like 6 episodes or something.
Oh my god, that's awesome! Woo! All right.
Look, for the record, as a CGI, strictly as a CGI werewolf design, it is pretty metal. It's just not like
it is.
It's metal, but it's not like my okay, wow, this is the peak of werewolf designs. Yeah, no, in terms of the movie, I really like it. Are we going to talk about the London assignment, or did I watch that for no reason?
No, we will. That's part of it. Okay. That's a big part of it.
So we have to talk about Van Helsing the movie in isolation, because I don't think those people were talking to each other when they were writing these things.
We'll talk about both.
Definitely
we'll talk about both. So Jekyll serves a deliberate purpose in this movie. It's just in the opening, not the opening scene, but the first scene that introduces Van Helsing himself.
He's the Bond opening.
He's the Bond opening, yeah. So he sets up the idea that Van Helsing is like fighting them at their worst, but the Jekyll Hyde turns into Jekyll before he dies, and it looks like Van Helsing just killed a normal guy, and he's like, "Dude, you're a fucking murderer. Fuck you." And Van Helsing's like, "I had to fight him when he was literally the Hulk. Like, I don't want to hear shit." So he has to struggle with that, where he's like, I'm the one that has to step up and kill all these fucking terrible monsters, but you guys make the coffins when they're normal people, and you guys blame me for killing normal fucking people. It's like, that's the confliction. So I think, in my opinion, that scene at the church, which he thinks he's fucking Phantom of the Opera, or Hunchback of Notre Dame, rather, like, he's all confused in there how he is, but like, that scene at the church sets that up really, really well, in my opinion. But let's talk about Jekyll and Hyde here. He's a giant fucking monster.
I need to know. Wait, hold on. I need to ask one question for you, Bruce, because this is a confusion I've had. How does the transformation work? Like, is it just willingly? Like, is it just willing? I've been confused since I watched the 1913 film. I don't get how the hell it works.
So in the book, he needs the formula to turn into Hyde, and he needs the formula again to turn back. But eventually, what eventually starts happening is that as time goes on, Hyde starts coming out without the formula, and he needs the formula to turn back, and he needs a stronger formula every time until he runs out.
Okay. I don't think back when the book was written, the author had the intention of him being a hulking monster.
They describe him as shorter than Jekyll. He's fucking a story tall in the fucking film.
Now, he does, in the book, as Hyde gets stronger, it does suggest he's maybe getting bigger, which is how Alan Moore justifies in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen comics why Hyde is so fucking huge in those.
That actually kind of is interesting. That's an interesting way to track that, yeah. But for the film Van Helsing, even from that, even accepting that, I can accept the lore changes. I can accept like this, like the serum, how it works and stuff like that. Jekyll being like this massive like cartoon villain version of the story. I liked that when I watched Van Helsing as a child, and I still like that to this day. But now that I have a deeper understanding of like the source material, and I've read the story and stuff like that, it's like, wow, they just wanted the idea of like someone turning into someone else, like a literal Hulk scenario where he's just Bruce Banner and then Hulk, and they just want to take that and slap the name Jekyll and Hyde on there.
If I'm being honest, that's probably my least favorite part of the film. Like, I get your argument for why it's important for like Van Helsing's story and everything, but it's just really like not interesting. I just find it kind of mid, and like I don't like how Mr. Hyde looks, and it's just it's just so generic in terms of everything. Like,
I like Robbie Coltrane's voice as Hyde. That's cool.
Oh yeah, great voice.
And I think it's a pretty cool fight. I think the way the fight ends is stupid because it doesn't really set up that whole thing of Van Helsing's character, because he doesn't kill Hyde. Hyde throws himself off the building like a dumbass and dies. It's always weird to me that Hyde is in this scene because he's not set up, he's just there. It's weird that he looks like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen version for some reason. He's a big dude, only he's CGI. At least in that movie, which had plenty of terrible CGI, Hyde was makeup. It's just weird. It almost feels like something else was supposed to be there because there's this interview clip on some of the DVDs where Stephen Sommers is talking about that scene and he says it's a werewolf. But then there's also the whole Notre Dame setting, which makes me think it was supposed to be Quasimodo.
That was what I was gonna say earlier. Like, I think that this was written to be Hunchback, and Stephen Sommers' version of Hunchback is just a giant fucking dude, and the same scene plays out, same dialogue. Oh, the bells, when he's freaking out about the fucking bell, and when he falls down, he dies, and then Van Helsing's murder. But I think what happened was they had that scene written or whatever. They're gonna make it, and they're like, oh wait. It would be more narratively whatever if he turns into a guy on the way down, then it makes Van Helsing look like a shithead, right? I think that's their mentality. We're like, hey, just story-wise it improves. But they changed nothing about the Notre Dame setting when doing that.
Well, it's
probably because they had
how
no
he
previews.
behaves.
Yeah,
because
probably.
now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, it's really weird that he like swings around. Like when they first meet and stuff, he's like swinging around and like acting like a monkey. But then when you mention Hunchback, I'm like, oh yeah, he's swinging around like Hunchback. He's doing shit like the Hunchback would do. What the hell?
Which, mind you, if this were a Hunchback adaptation, like the same scene plays out, right? And he doesn't transform into Jekyll at the end, kind of works. Like, he's just bigger than a guy would be. That's the only difference. He's still more accurate Hunchback.
Of course, I'd be wondering why he's an asshole, why he's like a murderer.
But because they needed a villain, Bruce.
I'd also be wondering, which I still think in the final cut is way too much, why he's fucking eating a cigar. Like, that was just like, okay, great.
It's like, hey, what's more villainous than, like, smoking it? Eating it.
Putting it out on his tongue.
I don't know, man. That was the most, like, okay, how do we just really hammer home this is just Monster of the Week?
I think it's a good scene, but again, we've talked about all the problems that beget calling it Jekyll and Hyde because it doesn't really narratively kind of track. But speaking of narratives that don't track, Van Helsing: The London Assignment is a tie-in short animated DVD extra film.
Wow, what a crazy thing.
Crazy thing to say, right? Crazy sentence.
First thing I have to ask, was this made by the same animation team that did the Mummy animated series?
I think so. So the Mummy animated series is made by Universal Cartoon Studios, which makes sense because Universal owns that.
Right.
It premiered on Kids WB, which is Warner, which is really funny. So yes, Xander, the answer is they did in fact.
I've never watched the animated series, but I did think
Me neither.
I was like, this looks very similar to that kind of thing. And I think Hugh Jackman did the voice for him in this, right? Like the
Yes,
they had the guys return.
all three of the actors from the movies who are in this come back.
I feel like the directing was, we don't care at all, let's rush this out to get it on the DVD. Because, as Bruce likes to point out, it's not really in continuity with how the dialogue of the opening scene of Van Helsing is. Like, it's totally... It tries to tie in, but it doesn't successfully do that.
Like, it almost feels like, because the first Mummy was a huge hit, but had, like, no tie-ins. It feels like they were like, okay, let's try and do what we did there, but really exploit the shit out of it. The only thing that ties in is the fact that he shot him in the arm. It mentions that he killed, like, this many men, this many women, had this many children, and a rather nasty massacre of poultry, which most of that doesn't come up in this. He's just Jack the Ripper.
He's just Jack the Ripper, A. Yeah. B, they go to fucking hell.
Because he's a wizard.
None of this, like... He's a wizard.
Yeah, he's a wizard. That's right. He's got like a fucking army of undead. That was like crazy. I don't know. I mean, I think it works because they seem to know each other in the beginning of Van Helsing, and I was always like, well, I wonder why they know each other. I mean, this makes a perfect example of why they would know each other. Although the reason, as much as I'm glad to see more of like a characterization for what the hell Dr. Jekyll is and stuff, it still is kind of not faithful at all to what Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is, because like he's like some crazed guy who's trying to woo Queen Elizabeth.
He wants to make Victoria younger so he can fuck her.
And I like you, Xander. I appreciate that they do like a bit of a deeper, lore drop on like, hey, this is our version of Jekyll. But they've diverged so much from what Jekyll is now. Like, because they already had we already talked about the opening with like Notre Dame doesn't really make any sense. They've now diverged completely and been like, he's actually like a dark fucking wizard who conjures things. The opening scene of Van Helsing has like no implications of that. No supernatural, no witchcraft. It's a serum, which makes the most sense.
Yeah, yes, and if
it's still a serum in this.
But like,
it's just
it is a serum in this. But like, did he?
It's a potion.
do alchemy to get this serum? Did he? Yeah, a potion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I thought he was a scientist. At least in the start,
if you read the Van Helsing novelization, none of this is in there. He's just a scientist who made a formula and turned into a monster.
Literally, which is lore accurate.
I mean, it's gotta just be because they're like, well, we gotta have some way for like Van Helsing to fight more than just
Also,
the main
there's
guy for some reason. I don't
there's
know.
there's a big issue here in terms of inconsistency that's not to do with Jekyll or Hyde. Brother, what the fuck is his name again? Carl.
Oh yeah,
In both
Friar Carl.
In both this and in the Van Helsing movie, they make a point of saying he's never been out of the Abbey and he's not a field guy.
He's not a field man. It's like, yes, you just were, and you said you weren't a field man in the field.
Yeah, let's also just ignore the fact that they're like right in front of lava at one shot, and they're just like rocking across pebbles.
What is hell like? 2 stories deep? Like you just walk
Yes.
down a quick staircase?
Well,
And
they're not in hell. They're just
They
like,
are
in this,
crossing
like,
over. They are
demon
crossing
thing.
over lava on stepping stones that turn out to be the skulls of zombies.
Yeah. There's so much going on. And like a part of me is like excited about that. Like, cool, hell yeah, he's fighting even more monsters. The implication of the world is that he's been fighting monsters forever. Like that's his whole thing. But
Yeah, it's cool.
this is meant to specifically tie into that monster, and it's like overcorrecting, like being like, okay, well actually he's like this fucking batshit insane, fucking crazy depiction of Hyde, which doesn't make any sense.
You want to? Well, I actually don't like While I appreciate the fact that we got more of Dr. Jekyll of anything, I don't like that Dr. Jekyll is also just another evil guy. Like it's just like, okay, so there's no difference now. There's nothing.
There's no difference. And like the opening scene of Van Helsing has is that like he's an innocent man, and the idea that Van Helsing should have tried to save him from himself, that's out the window if he's an evil wizard.
Yeah, which is funny because in this animated short, they talk about that. Like the priest guy, the Vanagon guy, is like, you must not first try to kill. You must try to see if he can be saved.
Right.
It's like
Awesome.
And like Van Helsing is like, nah, man. Some people are way too far gone, and it's like it tries to like make this whole thing where it's like, well, maybe he should try to save him, but it's like clearly Dr. Jekyll is beyond saving.
Right.
When Van Helsing shoots Hyde at the end of this in the arm, it's this slow motion close up shot of the bullet being fired, and it's the whole bullet. It's the bullet and the bullet casing going boom.
Yep.
Oh yeah. No, I'll tell you. We've been talking about every inconsistency. I'll tell you the one inconsistency that I'm pissed off that we didn't get in the live action film. Those fucking awesome claw gauntlets that he uses to just fucking rip into the train and like.
Yeah.
I was like, those are sick. Where the hell were those in the film? What the fuck?
Those are so cool. I wish they had those.
Imagine when he was tussling with the werewolf, he pulls out those claws and he like goes face to face. That would have been so sick. Like, what the hell?
Too similar to Wolverine? Question mark.
I don't give a fuck. I just want to say that.
I mean, according to Stephen Summers, he had not seen X-Men, and X2 wasn't out yet, so...
Look, we can make jokes all day long. What clearly happened here was that the people that made Van Helsing the film talked to separate individuals making spin-offs and said, hey, tie this in, and they didn't communicate with each other about what they were doing, which is why some of it feels so... Like, it's not... None of the fucking Van Helsing book mentions this. In fact, the prologues of the Van Helsing book are cool. I've talked about that before, I think in the last episode, where like they enhance the film. This one doesn't take away, but like it just contradicts the movie, and I'll say it takes away from what they were trying to do with Hyde and fucking the film. And
No, I agree.
It doesn't correlate with each other, at least, is the implication there. It's fun as like a nice little like almost like a YouTube video short, like you just put on for like 5 or 10 minutes. Like it's okay, but like it's not what it's trying to be. It doesn't live up to what it could be. So
Yeah.
but yeah, and I guess that
I have some more gap filling to do with some research I did. This is gonna be
Okay,
interesting.
sure.
Let's
Go
hear
ahead,
it.
man. Hit it.
So Universal, like late 2000s, early 2010s, had 2 separate Hyde movies in development at the same time. One
Really?
is by who? Okay, who do you think is the most obvious person to be attached to any of these movies?
Michael Bay.
John Woo?
Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
Oh,
we
okay.
we were kidding. We were lying.
Yeah.
So-
He apparently had like been working on it, but it got backburnered because he went to New Zealand to work on The Hobbit, and then that didn't happen. But at the same time, there was a version being written. His version was like a period piece, but there's a version being written that was like a modernized version where it was set to star Keanu Reeves. One of the directors attached to it was Nicholas Winding Refn, who left that to focus on Drive, which was a good decision.
Do you think Keanu would have done makeup?
Well, it would have had to have been to some degree if they were going to do it as it was written on the page.
Late 2010s, I think makeup would have been rather appropriate. Actually, today it would have been appropriate. There's no reason to CGI Jekyll, which
There's
kinda
absolutely
segues.
no reason to do.
Kind of segues into the
Yes.
final film we're going to talk about here. This is a nearly
Welcome
10-year-old
to a
film,
new
boys,
world of
released
gods
in
and monsters.
2017's Tom Cruise as Alex Kurtzman's hit 2017's film The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise. This
Your
film,
favorite film.
everyone's favorite film. This film this is like a great ending point to talk about Universal's relationship with Jekyll, because we've established over the past hour that Universal has had little to no interactions with the Hyde character. They've thrown him into Van Helsing because Stephen Sommers wanted to do that and they didn't stop him. They made Abbott and Costello meet him because they were running out of actual monsters for them to meet, because they met like 3 at the same time in the last film. So here we are, and there's no connection to Jekyll. And they're like, we're building a new dark universe. We need our Nick Fury. We need a guy to connect all the monsters. Who should we pick? We're going to pick Dracula, who's like usually like the king of the monsters, who's like controlling people. No, don't pick him. Okay, Frankenstein, the most popular one. No, don't pick him. Got it. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, who are 2 people, mind you, and they're going to run the organization of Prodigium, which has been alive for centuries, which implies that he's also immortal, which he was not in any version of the story. So that's their decision, and they picked acclaimed actor Russell Crowe to do that. And look, we don't have to beat a dead horse and talk about this film and like everything wrong with it, but let's just focus on the Jekyll thing. What are your opinions on Dr. Jekyll as portrayed in 2017's Mummy?
I'm going to say Russell Crowe's Jekyll performance it's inoffensive, it's fine, but his placement in the movie is bad. He doesn't really do anything. He just gets in the way, really. He's an obstacle, and then Hyde is terrible.
It's just Russell Crowe acting like Russell Crowe. Like it doesn't really feel like he's being like any kind of character personally. And then Hyde was just kind of like there. I don't like he's such a nothing character that I can't really put my finger on anything about him. Like, I hate to say it, but the 1913 Hyde has more of a stamp in my mind than Russell Crowe's Hyde, which is saying something.
He's just a CGI Russell Crowe.
Yep.
But what if? No, hear me out. What if the fact that they chose Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde to be the one is because, Tom Cruise and all of his masterful mind was like, wait, Carl Laemmle, he produced that one film years ago. That was the first one. So he has to be the leader of Prodigium.
There's no way.
This is the
There's
same guy.
No way.
It's the same guy. I will say, though, the idea of Prodigium. Okay, I was pronouncing it right. Sorry. It's an interesting idea. I thought that part of the whole thing of like there being like this whole like organization, I thought that was cool. I think the execution of it was terrible, but
Yeah.
I did think that thing of it itself is a cool idea. I mean, he doesn't even show up at the end of the film, I think, right? Like, it's
No.
just kind of...
I think his narration does, but that's not really important. I'm sitting in the theater, right? I remember it distinctly. And I'm watching his performance as Jekyll before he's Hyde. Now, I'm like, okay, interesting way to take this. I don't fully agree, but we'll see where it goes. That first scene that shows him, he's in that moment transforming into Hyde, and he has to inject his hand with that like triple serum to like get him down to be Jekyll again. And I'm thinking, like, how often does this happen? Like, did it just happen right at the most important introduction scene with you and Tom Cruise, or is this like an every like 10 minutes affair? Like, he's like all the time like injecting his stupid hand. Can he sleep? Can he like go to bed? So like,
yeah, it did feel like that.
like immediately it's implied that it happens so constantly. So I don't know if that was like a weird coincidence or they didn't care when writing it. It's probably what happened. But then he becomes Hyde. The one thing I appreciate, I don't even know if I like it, because it still doesn't make any fucking sense, but I appreciate that they tried to do this, was the hand being like no longer accessible to the door because it's a different DNA structure.
Oh yeah, that was
couldn't
cool.
open it as Hyde. I just thought to myself, like, okay, well, the implications are like, does it fucking swirl his fingerprints differently when he becomes Hyde? Like, is he literally like DNA transforming? Or because in the story, it's just a personality switch. It's like the same dude. He's just implied to be hunched over and uglier and a little different. But then the worst thing about it is not just the CGI, like the quality of it. Like, it's not great. It doesn't look amazing. But the fact that they used CGI to turn him into Russell Crowe, but like opacity down and like saturation down and exposure down. Like, he's just like Photoshop settings on his face, and he's like, that's our Jekyll. It's like, I don't know. Why not just get an actor that, like, you know, maybe Russell Crowe's the guy for this. Maybe he's not. But I don't know. But like, maybe get an actor that like can sell you on his performance. Like fucking Superman, Clark Kent from 1970s movie, like what's his name, Christopher Reeve. He did a great job of acting as Clark Kent and then acting as Superman. Those are two very different characters, even though they're the same actor on screen. And all he does is wear glasses, and that's the only difference. So like, you can totally get an actor, like a Shakespearean theatrical actor who like can sell a crazy twisted Hyde, and maybe he does have super strength, but without doing all this like crazy, insane CGI on his face and hands. And I don't know. I feel like they could have done it in like a really cool direction, and they went full summer blockbuster. Everything needs to cost $100 million. We need 1,000 VFX shots just to have him Russell Tom Cruise in one scene. I really dislike this. I think it's my least favorite Jekyll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's down there. By the way, I heard that come out of you as Russell Tom Cruise.
Russell Tom Cruise.
I didn't realize that when you said.
No, we got. I mean, Tom. I remember Russell Crowe's an Academy Award-winning actor. So
yes, he's so capable of a lot of great things. I
he's
don't know how well he
done-
does in split personality roles, but like
he's done
great.
physical transformations before. If you've ever seen The Insider,
I've not. Maybe
he's great in that. He put on a ton of weight, and he just was like very like toned down compared to like his usual big bombastic kind of performance.
Let me ask you guys this:
Gladiator.
you got the same. You are given the script to 2017's Mummy. You're not allowed to change a single thing, except what monster it is. What are you subbing out instead of Jekyll to improve the film?
There's two possibilities for who could be the leader. It could either be Larry Talbot, Wolfman, or the Invisible Man. Or the Invisible Man, because I ain't fucking putting Dracula in charge of this, because that's not going to work.
Invisible Man's a crazy choice, actually. That's really cool.
I feel like the Invisible Man could be deceitful enough that he could get his way in charge of this, whereas people should look at Hyde and go like, you're a risk.
Every 10 minutes, Griffin is like, oh god, I'm turning invisible. Okay, now I'm visible again. Whew, close one, guys.
I'm actually going to be an outlier here. I think I'm going to take a page from Jake's book. It would be an original character, and I'm just going to totally rip off Jake. I don't think I'd make it any of the monsters. I'd make it a human to kind of like play off that, like,
So an Australian?
You know, a human can... Yeah, basically. A human can be just as monstrous as that. And I think if I was doing it now and everything, I would draw heavily from Waylon Ross.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Or wait, I had another thought. You could have Van Helsing be in charge of the Prodigium.
No, that's
Yeah,
true,
there we
too.
go. Van Helsing.
Maybe
that works.
Prodigium.
Honestly, that works the best.
Wait, yeah, maybe he's it's not the same character obviously, but like maybe he is a monster hunter and he's now amassed a team of people to hunt and track them down. That could be cool.
Not weird hobo Van Helsing from the Dark Universe script, but
What I do want to know, Bruce,
yeah.
is there any scripts or anything that also involved Russell Crowe's Dr. Jekyll? Like,
Yes.
Yes, we just did one.
Wait, was he in the Creature one?
He was in the creature, yeah.
Oh shit.
He's in the creature, and he was in the. And this is one of those things they clearly didn't know what they were doing with this character because he has very different characterizations across all three of these.
Yes,
because he pops up for a brief cameo in the Van Helsing script where Van Helsing tries to psych him out by pulling up what's implied to be a picture of Mr. Hyde on his phone that we don't see. And when Van Helsing first walks into the room, Jekyll freaks out and like reaches for like something to defend himself, and he grabs like a letter opener. weird, humorous moment.
Okay, you got to forgive me. The Black Lagoon one was a couple months ago, and a lot has happened since then. So
sure has.
He then shows up at the end of the Black Lagoon script, and he's like the big good guy at the end. They're like, "This is a guy you trust your life to."
That's right. Okay, but what was there any like? Has there been any details of like Avengers moment kind of thing? Like,
no.
Was there any details beyond just
all the scripts that, at least to my knowledge, Bruce, because you've shared them all with me, all the scripts that were written for and with the Dark Universe were all kind of trying to be Phase 1 Marvel, where like Captain America and Thor and Iron Man, like, we're just writing all the build-up and spin-offs. But again, like Bruce was establishing, the character does not track across them, like in terms of being the same or similar or having similar traits. It's just like, oh, well, we just know he's going to be this guy, so we're going to try and make our own thing. And ironically, that's also what Van Helsing spin-offs did, because they had people talk to each other when they're doing all the spin-offs of the same thing, even though they're all supposed to be in the same universe. So that was pretty funny. Odd how Jekyll is just like the subject of spin-offs of Universal not communicating with each other properly for decades.
It's kind of crazy.
I do wonder what his role would have been in some of those other things, like if he would have been in Bride of Frankenstein, because the thing I keep wondering is because it was mentioned somewhere that like the first act of Bride of Frankenstein would have been a period piece, and then should come into the modern day and the rest of the movie, and I wonder if they would have established him as being like centuries old in that script or something like that.
I believe so. I believe because based on the evidence, he has shown up in every single Dark Universe script, right?
Except for
he's
Wolfman.
Prominent in Tom Cruise's Mummy. So to me, it's like if you're told to write a Dark Universe tie-in script and you're told like make it tie into our stuff too, and you're probably being told, hey, use Jekyll. We got him contracted like Nick Fury for like 9 films straight. That's probably what they're being told to do to some extent.
So far he wasn't in the Wolfman script, but there was like another Prodigium guy, and then the Invisible Man showed up at the end.
You're right.
What I'm curious about is what would have happened. Like, what would have been the big event movie? Like, what the fuck was?
So sadly,
was
the answer is it was never written or probably planned based on the script I did read. But like we can sit here and like pretend. Like I think what will happen is that Dr. Jekyll does like a Seven Samurai. Like let's say Tom Cruise's Mummy. Tom Cruise is like set, the devil, whatever, at the end of the Mummy is like gonna destroy the whole world or something, and Tom Cruise is the villain because he's signing on for the universe. He would probably want to be the main guy, so he's gonna be the villain. So Jekyll has to like
Tom
go
Cruise
to
won't
all the
want to be the
monsters.
bad guy.
No, Tom Cruise wants to be the hero. He's the big guy.
Yeah, maybe, but like the way I see it is like probably Jekyll's gonna like recruit all the team and be like, Mr. Frankenstein, we need you for the monster initiative. Mr. Dracula, we need you for, and he's gonna make a big Suicide Squad team to destroy the big bad guy. That's what I think
Dracula
would happen.
would have been the big bad.
God, I wish, but he's not in any of the scripts, so I don't know.
Well, remember the creature script ended with them setting up this big bad who's like the head of the evil corporation, who's a character from Frankenstein the book for some reason.
Yeah, they were teasing that being a big like overarching villain, which doesn't make sense because he's not like a hype character. He's not even a monster. He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy. He's an Arctic explorer.
Yeah, it's so boring. But Dracula would have been the dopest choice for something like that. But if we're going by Dark Universe unwritten scripts, then it's maybe Luke Evans, maybe a reboot character. But he does not seem like the big overarching villain type. He got his shit kicked in to Bathory in that own script. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening at all.
He basically forms, Xander, since you haven't read it, he basically forms like the other half of a mismatched buddy cop duo with Van Helsing in that script.
Back to the point here, Mummy 2017, obviously a colossal failure. We don't have to talk about how bad it was, but in terms of being a Jekyll adaptation, I think it is probably the worst attempt at adapting it of the 4 that we've mentioned, and they have not done great prior. Like Abbott and Costello met like one of the worst versions of Jekyll anyway. All this to say, this has spanned 104 years of Universal making films, and they've done it 4 times, 2 of which he appears in a different film that's not a Jekyll film, so those are off the table already.
3 of which...
You're right. Oh my god, it's an Abbott and Costello film. So 3 of which are that. Only one's a straight adaptation, and Universal didn't even really do it. It wasn't even their film. So they've never actually made a Jekyll and Hyde film, like, proper, ever. The answer is he's not a Universal monster. If Universal wants to say he is, we have to accept that as such, because, like, Scorpion King is one, I guess. He's in the toys, he's in the merch.
No, Scorpion King is not a Universal monster.
I don't make the rules, Xander. I'm not Universal.
I don't give a fuck.
They made 5 Scorpion Kings.
I do not see a black and white release.
Okay. Going by the ending of Mummy Returns, he is in fact a monster.
Oh my god, he's in 6. He's in 6 films.
He wasn't in any of the original classic black and white, so he doesn't count.
Now that's
neither
a
was
script.
Jekyll.
That's a script I want to read just to see how bad it is.
Jekyll.
Is a script I want to get just to see how bad it is? Was that reboot that Dwayne was producing?
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Jake, because it has been a while, and I don't recall. But did you make a Jekyll and Hyde character in Devil's League?
No, he's one of the only ones that wasn't
did.
there.
Well, let me ask you, Jake. Why didn't you? Because I mean, you included a lot that wasn't even part of it. So, what was the reason?
To quote Wong from Endgame, "What, you wanted more?" No. So, for me, it's like, if I'm gonna be true to the character, he's just a guy, and all the Devil's League are like crazy batshit dark fantasy or sci-fi monsters gone wrong. And if I wanted to make Jekyll a part of that and fit in with those people, I would have to significantly change the source material. And I did in some cases, like the Hunchback. I'm not going to spoil it, but you guys know that shit went bonkers by the time I revealed what the Hunchback was.
Insanely crazy.
The Phantom.
The Phantom is obviously very loosely, it's very literal.
Actually, to contradict your point, Jack, the Invisible Man, is just a guy.
He is just a guy.
One of the best characters, but still, he is just a guy.
That's why he's not in those cages. He's just a guy. Like, I purposely wrote him, like, I want to be true to the source material in some extent. And as it's written, he's not really, like, Waylon would know that he's literally just a Homo sapien. He's not anything scientifically crazy about him. He's just wearing something. So I wrote it in as a story as he's the assistant, so that's a little different.
You know what? I respect it. I understand.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that I've thought of the Phantom, wouldn't that have been a cool thing for Van Helsing to fight in Paris? He thinks he's fighting like this supernatural. Wow. He thinks he's fighting like this supernatural guy who can like disappear and shit, but then it just turns out to be an ugly dude with like parlor tricks and shit. And so like, I just killed a guy.
If Stephen Summers is insistent on him being a Hulk-sized individual, there's no good answer. Is the reality of the question?
Yes,
true.
So let me ask you guys this. I guess is the main topic here, and we already kind of started talking about it, but do you think that Jekyll is a universal monster?
Xander, you go. I want to think.
Well, I mean, given all the facts that we've covered and like discussed, no, I guess he really isn't. But at that same sense, I do have to ask if maybe even this. I mean, this is probably for a different episode. Coming to question whether or not Phantom and Hunchback are universal monsters.
Interesting take there. I see your point on that.
I would say unless they actually do something with it, maybe if they do something with him in like the theme parks down the line, I'm gonna say for now no, but in the future maybe.
I don't know how I feel. I really put you guys, put your feet to the fire to get an answer out of you guys. But like, even me, I still don't know, because how I feel about it is that
they're not on fire.
The only ones that determine if a universal monster is a universal monster is Universal, right? So if they say that Hyde, Phantom, Hunchback, fucking Metaluna mutant in some cases is a universal monster, then that's true. Like that, it's their character. It's what they want to do. And if they announce a 10-part series based on, Hyde and all of his adventures, and it's going to be a universal monster canon thing, then, well, they're them. They get to do that, But based on as a fan, as a layman here, as just someone who enjoys watching most of these movies, I do not believe that he can be classified as one, because when you look at all the universal monsters, you have at least one movie you can point to, and not a crossover, but a film about them that you can point to and say, damn right, that's why he's a universal monster. He's in this, and that's his film. And Dracula, you have that. You have like 10 of those. Frankenstein, you definitely have that. Wolfman, you totally have that. Mummy, you have that. And you go down the line, Creature, you definitely have that. And like, you get to Jekyll, if you're going to consider him. Even Phantom and Hunchback, like they both have the classic silent films. Phantom got a remake by Universal.
Hell,
And then-
She-Wolf of London.
No. Then you get
We
down
don't
to
talk about She-Wolf of London.
you get down to Jekyll, and you're just like, okay, well, what's your claim to fame? And I'll say this: Bride of Frankenstein is in a similar spot as Jekyll in that there have been no sequels to her thing. No remakes, no nothing. She didn't even get appearances. She's not in Van Helsing. She's not in fucking, 2017's Mummy. Yeah, she had a script written, but we haven't even seen that see the light of day yet. It wasn't on Screenplay Gallery. She has had no representation with sequels or remakes or anything or crossovers. She never appeared in the House movies. But look at her today. One of the top billed, most iconic Universal monsters in all the merchandise. Every single version of them in modern day has her right at the forefront next to Frankenstein and Dracula, even though she appeared once for 5 minutes in one film. So,
And
That's true.
they've tried to remake her more than they've tried to remake Frankenstein.
yes, they have. Yes, they have. She's clearly one of the breakout, most popular ones in the series, even though she's barely appeared in the series. So, given that, you can still say, well, what's her claim to fame? It's Bride of Frankenstein, one of the greatest classic Universal monster films ever. Hyde does not have that. So he fails every bit of criteria that you would need. And if just one happened, if he just had one classic film, even if it wasn't that great, that Universal made, if he just had one little thing, or maybe he's in all the merch today, maybe he's in all the Dark Universe stuff, okay, you can kind of bullshit him in there. But like, no. I would say based today, 2025, right now, no, he is not in fact a Universal monster. I think Bruce is right as well in the sense that like if they were to make a remake like today and release a Hyde film and call it a Universal monster film, then you can start to make the argument that he's now a part of the series. But it has to be a damn good movie, man. It better not be a hunk of shit. So that's how I feel today. I'd say no. I think we're all in agreement on that as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair reasoning and everything.
So why'd they put him in The Mummy?
Maybe if they had made the Keanu Reeves movie, my answer would be different.
That'll just about do it. And yeah, do not check out 1913's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If you want to, it's on YouTube, and there's no consequences to uploading it on YouTube right now because it's over 96 years old. Woo!
Check out the 1931 movie if you can, because that's actually good.
Yes. Oh, and speaking
And,
of checking things
read
out,
the book.
Yes.
Or listen to the audiobook.
read the book. Robert Louis Stevenson's estate needs more money. But more importantly, there's something that's coming out very soon. And one of our co-hosts here has been hard at work, finally picture locked it. Super proud of this guy. Bruce is making the Screenplay Archaeology film. No, it's Xander with it's Xander with Cold Embrace, the latest installment in the Emerald Quill versions of these classic Universal monsters. So, dude, just talk about that for a few minutes and we'll wrap up.
At the time of recording, we did just Picture Rock last night. Version 2 was it. It took two versions. Music has been written and stuff. I haven't heard it yet. We're going to be hard at work at music, and I am 100% sure that October 1st will be the YouTube premiere of it. It's kind of crazy. This is probably the longest film I've ever worked on. This was 6 months of my life in production. Unique story, and really try to do what I had wanted to see from when I first saw that they were making a Renfield movie. I really wanted to do a psychological drama. The idea of like Dracula just like tormenting Renfield and shit like that. This isn't actually Dracula and Renfield, but this is that idea of what I always thought of, like, how does a man go insane from that? Is it really just one hypnosis or something?
So it's a spin-off about Teddy fucking Lobo.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Teddy fucking Lobo. Yeah,
Extremely controversial character on this podcast.
Is he a universal monster?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, kind of. He's more than Hyde is.
Does he have more of a claim than Hyde?
God damn it.
I'm going to cash in my free Devil's League copy I gave you and say that if you don't send me a 2-week early access screener, that our friendship is over.
I was actually going to say, Jake, I can't buy you a plane ticket, but in addition to the YouTube premiere, I want to have an actual premiere on a screen.
Oh.
I can't pay for a ticket, but you are invited to that screen premiere.
Well, thank you.
YouTubers.
I
you both are
appreciate
invited.
that quite
if you
a bit.
guys can make the time for the date, please
great.
come, because I'd love to have you.
I probably won't be able to.
Thank you. I
I
appreciate
was like,
the
let me
invite.
just Uber there.
Yeah,
No, of course.
I'll Uber across the country. It's easy.
You know what? I just want to say, Jake, thank you so much for giving light to Cold Embrace and letting me talk about it and stuff. That means the world to me.
We're all three of us are working on Universal Monster projects like constantly, but it's rare that one actually like gets completed with how fucking hard they are to pull off. So I'm so fucking happy for you and what you're doing, and I just October 1st is a great release date. I should know.
I know, right? Thank you.
But yeah, no problem. But yeah, that'll just about do it for this episode. I want to thank you guys both once again for coming on and just doing our thing every month for a fresh $0 in our inbox here. Next episode,
I literally went out of my way.
Next episode, would you be open? And I'm asking both of you to doing an episode just about Cold Embrace, because this is true. It premieres the 1st of the month. That's when this show comes out.
I'd be happy to have a whole hour-long Cold. That means the world to me, man, if you'd want to.
Of course. Anything to promote the movie. Hell yeah. Let's do it. All right. Well, with that all being down, see you guys next month for this wild, wacky, and crazy episode about this cockamamie director's idea of what Dracula should be. So we'll check it out then. Goodbye.
Bye.